there's no easy way around it. They pulled the rug out from underneath fans, and that's probably why FaceTube and U-Book exploded when in March of 2022, Subaru announced that they would no longer be making the WRX STI. And this is just a month before the latest generation 2022 WRX would be reaching dealerships and making its debut and all that fun stuff. And fans have been hoping and waiting and wanting to see the new STI, only to be told, without any other pomp or circumstance or warning or final edition or any sort of send-off, that no more STI. And when that initial announcement came out, I was, pretty shocked, pretty sad about that. But I took some time to think about it and to try to sit back and gauge what all is going on, how could this happen, and why it actually makes sense. So today we're going to talk about why the WRX STI can't exist anymore. It starts with the formula. You're looking at a high horsepower, low fuel economy sports car. Okay, yes, those exist right now, but companies that make those can afford to because they sell a lot of cars. For instance, Toyota is coming out with the GR Corolla that was just announced shortly after the STI was canceled. Now, a lot of fans, myself included, first thought that Toyota must have had a hand in canceling the STI because Toyota and Subaru are working together these days. And that's just not the case. There's enough products that both companies have that compete with each other that, and not only that, but there's cars that they make together. The GR86 and the BRZ and the BZ4X electric vehicle that Toyota's coming out with is also the Subaru Solterra. So there's definitely cars that compete with each other. So that's not really a viable reason why Toyota would have had any sort of hand in axing the STI. But back to Toyota, they made 17 million cars in a year. And with that kind of production, you can afford to take your small hatchback, turbocharge it, give it some all-wheel drive, get it manual, and make enthusiasts go crazy and love it. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome car. On the flip side, Subaru, devoted fan base still, known for their sports cars, has just released the 2022 BRZ brand new redesign. Came out last winter. Perfect time to release a rear-wheel drive sports car in the Midwest, by the way. And also the 2022 WRX, which just came out. I just saw one. I haven't driven it yet. They're going to be great. So how come they can't also make an STI version of that WRX like they had planned to? And we know they planned to because there was all this press hype and all these folks that were talking about the new STI. Subaru had the Visive concept with STI logos and wings all over it. Even the coin holder in the 2022 WRX will fit a SI drive controller and DCCD controller from an STI that's in my car right now. Fits in that car like a glove. It's hilarious. And also very sad. There's the money side of that, but there's also the regulation side of things. CAFE standards, emissions stuff, government things, all these other things that are going on. This push towards EV is only the beginning, because what's on the horizon over that is autonomy. Fewer people are owning their own cars these days. Fewer younger people are getting their license right now. People are doing a lot of ride sharing. People are doing a lot of all these other things that are counterculture to what has been going on for decades. Another element of this that I completely forgot about while filming is there's still a shortage of parts to build cars in general. Whether it's the WRX STI or their bread and butter Crosstrek, Forester, Outback, and Ascent, Subaru can't build cars fast enough. So
Why bother focusing on a car that's going to get outdated soon, that's not going to meet certain emissions or regulations and bring down their CAFE score when they can hardly make cars that actually make the company any sort of money?
As a result, whether it's for emissions reasons or money reasons or CAFE standards or whatever things that Subaru needs to have certain cars in their profile to make it work, that can't happen. That car can't exist in this climate. The sound of inefficiency. It just kind of sucks how it happened, but it makes sense, and that's what you have to come away with in the aftermath of all of this. If you were a Subaru fan that was waiting for the next gen STI, you kind of feel like you were lied to, because the expectation was that the new WRX would come out and then the new STI would come out and you would get that, and you passed on your opportunity to get a 2021 STI. But that was it. There was no final edition badge on those to let you know. There was no inclination from Subaru that there would be no more STI until all of a sudden, rug out from underneath you, a couple weeks before the new WRX hits, yeah, there's going to be no STI. But next week, you'll be able to see more information about our new EV. It's sad that the way that it happened, you know, it's just like an Office Space where you get fired on a Friday because there's less chance of an incident. It's an exact page out of that. And it feels kind of sad for a sports icon like the WRX STI to go away like that. So if you'd like more happier content from me, I've got a 4-part series that I just finished up called My Decade with Subaru. Check that out if you get a chance. There's also going to be a review up with this big wing behind me that followed me around. So stay tuned for